Hey everybody, this is Renae from The Space Between, and you are listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind over 30 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between podcast, the podcast that talks about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week I bring to you a fan of the Dave Matthews Band to share their journey with the Dave Matthews Band and with the community that is around the Dave Matthews Band. So today I have Dawn with me. And Dawn, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell me who you are, where you are in the world, and how in the world did you find the Dave Matthews Band?
Hi, Renae. I'm so happy to be here and be a part of your podcast. I am a Dave Matthews fan since 2014, and I went to my first concert and fell in love with the band and the music and the inspiration. I'm in Detroit currently. It's where I live, and I love it.
Yeah, yes. Is it cold there today, or...
You know, mentioned... it's like 50 degrees. It's 50 degrees, and that's like balmy for Michigan for sure.
You guys are getting a break right before Christmas, so this is a good time to get out right before it all breaks loose, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, like, what has the voyage with the Dave Matthews Band look like for you in your life? And how did you run across it, and what is it about it that's held your attention for this long?
So I went to my first show in 2014. I went with my daughter and her boyfriend and my ex-husband, and I loved it. We were sitting on the hill, and I was dancing. Nobody else that I go with dances, not them. My girlfriend and I, we dance, but not my family. So I was dancing, and because of my MS, I was a little fumbly. I wasn't sure-footed, and I just knew that the next time I went back to the concert, which I knew I would, I wanted to be able to physically dance without concern. Right?
Yes.
So I started exercising, and I started doing yoga and make my body stronger, doing steps for my balance. And, I can't say that it was the very next year or the year after that. I don't know when it exactly happened, but right now I can stand on the hill and dance sure-footed.
Wow.
And it feels great. And I knew when I saw the band, I knew I would be back. And, I just love the inspirational songs, the words, they're almost all, you can find some good in all of the music.
Absolutely.
There's definitely messages of love and hope and inspiration. And that's what gets to me.
Yeah, I think that's the hook for a lot of people is, and what better time? I mean, I know this band has, obviously been around for almost 33 years, which is even crazy to say, but I think that that's a common story is for people to find so much inspiration and hope, not only in the music, but in the community of fans that comes along with the music.
And, I was going to say something like that, every time I go, I meet more and more people, and the people in the sense of community is awesome. And the people, last concert I went to, there was, a young girl that was there with her parents. And that's just so cool to me,
Absolutely.
that we want to share it with everyone we know because we want them to feel the same way we do.
Right. Someone I knew not too long ago said something so funny, and, take it as you will, but that we're disciples for the Dave Matthews Band because we just want to share it with everybody, right? Because we find so much joy in all of it that we think that everyone can. And obviously we know that that's not true. It's not for everyone, and that's cool. But that speaks a lot to music in general, is not everyone has to like the Dave Matthews Band, but I think everyone for the most part has their type of music that they receive something from
Sure.
whatever feeling they're needing,
Yeah.
whether,
Right.
that's
Right.
joy
Sure.
or peace, or needing a good song to cry to because something has just happened. But music's always there, right? Like, and music's really been there for you. So, you explained to me that you were diagnosed at 25, and it's something that you're really, that's a big part of your life, and you're having to stay diligent in keeping your health at the top of your priorities. And so what has that looked like for you in the last couple of years, if you knew that someone with MS was listening to this and that was looking for some kind of words of help, of like, where do I start, what can I do, what has worked for you? And obviously not everything works for everyone, but what have you used, what has really made a difference in your life?
So when I was diagnosed, I think most people, when you're diagnosed with kind of a serious disease, you kind of, I don't know, it's I became depressed,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you just don't want to socialize. Like, I didn't want to go out because I couldn't really walk. I wasn't
Right.
really in a wheelchair, but I leaned on my cane really hard, and I fell a lot,
Mm.
and it's a dark place
Yeah.
in that place, and it
Yeah.
was a low place.
Yeah.
Um, and when you have things that you could normally do, one by one being taken away from you,
Yeah.
that's, it's hard. It's a hard place to be in. And I saw the band, and it just inspired me to exercise. And I figured, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
A dark cloud left me,
Yeah.
and the sun
Yeah.
came out, right?
Yes.
So I just started doing the things that I could do that I felt would make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped taking some medication that I didn't feel I needed with the help of a doctor. I didn't do it on my own. I did it with, guidance.
Right.
And I started doing yoga, and made a conscious effort to start eating healthier. And one by one and day by day, year after year, it was just better, and it's still getting better. It's
Wow.
still getting better. And I am happy to say right now that I'm symptom free.
Oh my goodness.
And when you get a diagnosis like that, they don't really tell you that you have the ability to change it.
They don't.
They never do. It was never, told, nobody ever said to me, you have the power in your hands. And maybe for some things we don't have the power in our hands, but I felt the power, and I changed my life.
Wow. Wow. But you also had such a will. And I think that that's so important. A lot of people, especially after being diagnosed, and like you said, a lot of people do, face depression, if not for the first time in their life, that can cause them, if that's something that they were experiencing throughout their life, to really kind of, like you said, take a deep dive into depression. And it's very, very hard to then have two things that you're trying to fight, and equally as important, right? Because mental health is just as strong as your physical health. And so to be battling both of those at the same time, that's incredible that you were able to overcome both. And so, I mean, congratulations. That's an unheard of story for the most part. And I can say that because I'm a nurse and I work in physical rehab, and I don't hear your story often enough. And so I'm so thankful that, you've done it, right? You've achieved the things that you were like, I'm not going to lose this stuff. I want to continue to lead this kind of life. And you did it. You did it. And obviously it took some work. Was yoga something that was part of your life before your body started to?
So no, not at all. And there's more to yoga than just the stretching. There's the showing yourself compassion.
Yeah.
And it never occurred to me to show myself compassion. As mothers, we're always showing everybody else that compassion. And when you're instructed to show it to yourself, it's like, wait a minute, what?
Right.
So it was the whole mind body experience of yoga, and it's a great message. It's great, breathing and meditation, and it brings more to my life than just the stretching and the
Mm-hmm.
poses. It's a mindset of being healthy.
Right. A healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy soul, right? And that really is,
It
one of the
sounds so
guides to,
easy.
honestly, like I know it probably does sound easy, but with a little wisdom and age, we know that that's not easy, right? Like
Right?
it's not
No,
that easy
no,
to
no,
achieve. And so
no. It's
again,
very hard.
it's
Yeah.
it's wild. So what does your routine look like now just for maintenance? Like what does your day look like?
So my daily, I walk, my goal is to walk daily. I inherited a dog from
Yeah.
my daughter. My daughter passed away in 2019, and
Oh
I
God.
inherited her
Oh
dog.
my goodness, I'm so
He's
sorry.
a beautiful, beautiful spirited dog, and I want him to live forever.
Absolutely,
So
you
I,
do.
I thought I have to walk you. And before then, I had never been a walker. I never walked a block in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the latest thing, that's within the last year. So um, I started walking my dog, and we walk a mile a day.
Wow.
That's the goal. But when it's really cold, I do have a treadmill, and I'm trying to get him used to going on it, but he's kind of
Yeah, that was
sketchy a
my
little bit.
my first
So
thought is, you live in Michigan. How are you walking a mile
I
every
know, right?
day?
Yeah. Right, right. So we just bought a house, and they left it down there. So I'm like, and it works. So I'm trying to, use
Yes.
some treats to get
Yeah.
him to go on it. And eventually he will. I just have to be very patient with him.
Exactly. That's
But
going to
it's
be
good
so
for
much
me to
easier.
walk too, and we walk together,
Good.
and I exercise. I moved, so I haven't been able to find yoga near me, which is
Mhm.
makes me very sad, and
Sure.
I'm working a lot, but I have all my weights and my mat at home, so
Mhm.
I do weights every day. I walk every day, and I do try to do yoga at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow. So, it sounds like keeping your body like not only strong but limber and your muscles lean. And that's all what I've always heard that is so important about yoga is it really keeps your muscles, stretched, which is something that we forget is so important as we, get busy with life and we work, work, work. We forget how important it is just to stretch, right? And you don't have to work out, but
It feels so
stretching.
good. Yeah, it
Yes,
feels so good, and it's so relaxing to just sit and stretch. It's a
exactly.
great thing to do before you go to bed.
It is. I think about just even the times, where we stretch when we yawn and how good that feels. Like everyone enjoys
Yeah,
that
it feels
feeling,
so
right?
good.
Well, you can
Yes,
have it more than just when you yawn, right?
yes,
Like you can have
yes.
it anytime. I mean, don't make it weird. Like don't, stretch out in the office. But like other than that, you can have it whenever.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the music because, of course, that's one of the reasons we're here is to talk about, how we found the band, what keeps us connected to the band. And so, you mentioned that, like, obviously the lyrics, the people, that's what keeps you hooked. Do you have any songs in mind that have been really helpful for you, ones that stick out, or, what is the song that you gravitate towards more than others?
So I have a couple songs. Every day is the song, usually that I start my exercise routine because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
pick me up love from the bottom. And I can't say how many times I felt like I was at the bottom,
Yeah.
and lift me up. And it felt so good.
Yes.
So that's one that I just love. I think it's a great song. And Jimmy thing, like what I don't have, what I need is all around me. Like
Mhm.
really, and I feel like I've always wanted more, like a better house and better clothes or a better car. We don't need all that.
No.
What I have is right here, and this is what I need, and this is what I thrive in. So this is all I need.
That's something like we need to be reminded of daily, like you, I, all of us, right? Because it's, it is, and it can be with, I think we both come from a time where there was no internet, right? But with
Right.
there's always been a let's catch up with the Joneses or be the Joneses or whatever.
Sure.
But now
Right.
it's even more intense. I feel like even for children, because it's right in front of you. It's so easily accessible. And people typically only put on social media things to make themselves look good, right? Like we're not all painting a terrible life and talking about how bad it sucks to roll out of bed at 5 a.m. Right.
That's so
So like
true.
it's a crazy time to be constantly reflecting of what other people have. But like, yeah, it's such a good reminder that we really need to think about, even, now is such a time of love and giving and being thankful right after Thanksgiving of really, do we mean that? Like, are we mindful of that? Like, and I always, I will point the finger back at myself every time because I struggle. I think we all do. We just live in that world. And so from time to time, we need to be like gently reminded, like, hey, girl, you woke up today. You got things to be thankful for, right?
And it's so true. And I try to take some time out of my day to be reflective and see what I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for different things every day.
Of course, we have so much, and of course, there is never going to be a time ever where everything is perfect for everyone. That world is never going to exist. And so, but there are always things to be thankful for. And
always. When I take a shower and the hot water hits me, I'm so thankful for that hot water, right?
Exactly.
Can you imagine having to take a cold shower?
People used to, right? Like, honestly, it's a luxury. We tend to forget that, but that's a luxury.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I think Jimmy thing does remind, and it's funny because all of the songs, you can take different things from them, right? Because I felt like Dave Matthews is such a mastermind in writing lyrics. Like some of it can be very surface level and you can pull it off real easy, but some of his lyrics, man, you kind of got to dig and like get some like dictionaries out and be like, okay, what is he trying to say here? But honestly, people can take different things from everything. And so who knows what the hell it actually means? I always say, one day, if we ever get to sit down with Dave and we can go, okay, let's talk about this.
We know how it affects us. Right.
And I think as an artist, most people really want whoever the viewer is to take that as you need or as you want. And that's kind of the beauty of art. And I believe that music is art, that it's up for interpretation, right? And so if hopefully, I think for the most part, we all get happy feelings from Dave, and so he's a source of a lot of our joy. And again, that's kind of what this podcast is about. And so, guys, if you are listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube just by going to the Space Between podcast on YouTube. And of course, you can see Dawn's beautiful face. And I have to mention, because it was plainly obvious to me when I turned on this, I was like, we look like Christmas together. You have beautiful green glasses on, and I randomly today chose to do red glasses, and so we are just the picture of Christmas. So so Merry Christmas. But so what do your plans look like? What are your tour plans? Do you go to shows? Well, obviously you go to shows, but what are you thinking for 2024, and what's your home venue?
So in 2016 or 17, I ran into my girlfriend from high school, and that I hadn't seen her in many years, and we got together and we discovered we both have the same love for the Dave Matthews Band.
How cool is that?
And she's always willing to travel, and I'm always willing to travel. So now I've got a travel partner to go wherever we want to go, whenever we want to go there. And I'm an empty nester, so I don't have any kids anymore. I can do what I want.
Yes.
And so our Michigan, well, she's in Chicago and I'm in Michigan. So her family's from here. So she comes here to go to the Michigan show, and we go to the Michigan show together. We've gone to Colorado, Indiana, Savannah, Florida, and New York so far.
Oh my goodness.
So, and our plan for the summer is to go places we haven't been.
Yes.
That's got a beach, so we can go to the show and the beach.
Yes.
So that's our plan. And we're unlimited. I'm unlimited. I want to go to as many shows as I can.
You know what? We are not promised that they will be around for much longer, because again, they're 33 years, and so we have no idea.
I mean, some of the Carter's just turned 60, right?
Well, 65,
So,
I think. I joke that he can apply for Medicare at this point. It's like, but I always joke, kind of like you say, you want to travel to see them everywhere. I always joke. Well, I don't think it's a joke. I think I'm dead serious when I say that the Dave Matthews Band is my travel agent. Like they kind of just tell me, oh, this is where you're going this summer,
yeah,
right?
sure, where we're going next. Yes.
And places I would never go, like. I probably would have never gone to what's the little city where Deer Creek is? I can't. Noblesville, Indiana. Like,
well, yes.
I probably would have never gone there. It's lovely. I'm so glad I did, and it's one of my favorite venues. But like, the band has really opened up to me to travel more within our country because I think for me, I'm always focused on like where do I want to go out of the country and traveling to see the band has reminded me, my God, how beautiful of a country we live in, and every state is so different.
That's so true. Yeah,
it's beautiful. Great. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
And so it's really made me appreciate so many things. Obviously, appreciate the music, appreciate the people that it comes with, but then appreciate just again this country because I forget everything, and I'm unaware. Like I've never gone to Wisconsin, and I went to Wisconsin, and it was beautiful. Just who knew? And so I want someone to say that about Arkansas one day, because y'all, he comes to Arkansas and it's beautiful. So Rogers, Arkansas. So we're in the middle of the Ozark Mountains. So anyone that listens to this, definitely put Rogers on your list. And so what's your next, like, what if there's a dream location? Like, have you been to the Gorge? Have you been to Mexico?
So I haven't been to the Gorge. I haven't been yet.
Okay.
But that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
happen this year.
At least do once. I went first this year, and I think it was something to see, right? Like it really was very different than any other venue, and I don't think another venue can possibly match it. It's so majestic. But there, I feel the same way about a lot of places. I went to Jones Beach, and it was just so cool. That's New York, I think. And it was so cool that it was right on the water, like you were saying. I mean, like literally the ocean is right there, and the venue is looking over the ocean. And I was like, this is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I would love to see them play Red Rocks.
Oh my goodness, me too. And I mean, if they ever do, because I've heard that from so many people, if they ever did do it again, the tickets for that would be near impossible because everyone would just like flock to go to that because that's so requested.
True. That's very true.
Colorado is
the Madison Square Garden show was phenomenal.
Oh, were you there this year?
For the first day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It was great.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be the best show I've been to.
Really?
He had some guests.
Oh yeah. I listened to it just a little bit, and of course, with it being the closer, I think a lot of people were listening to it, and so the guests. Oh my goodness, I'm having a blank. But Shorty, Trombone Shorty was there again. And he's amazing. He's so fun to watch because he's so physical with his playing. So he's such a great guest. And I think, when I don't know what he played in New York, but when he was in Charlottesville, he played Louisiana Bayou, which, Shorty is from Louisiana. So he was able to pull like that Cajun flair or the Louisiana like music into what is already has the Louisiana, I guess, spice to it, the way Dave sings it, the way it sounds. And so the combination of those two guys, I was like, y'all, this is the way it was intended to sound right here.
Yes.
I loved it. So, guests, just mix it up a little bit because again, we go to these shows over and over to hear the band, but they never sing the same song twice ever. Never. Yeah, people are like, you go see the same show. I'm like, it's never the same show. It's not like other people that come out and do the same 10 songs every day. Right. It is
not
so
like
different.
that. People don't get it. They're like, what?
No.
I'm like, it's never the same show. It's always a different show.
it's really hard to explain. And, I've never been to a Grateful Dead show or to a Fish show, but I would imagine that that would be like how you could explain to someone. But then if they're younger, how do you explain? Because I don't think that there's a lot of, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything, but like, I don't think that right now there's a young jam band that's coming out. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, like, send me an email and tell me who they are and I'll check them out. But like, I don't think that that's very like hip right now, or is it? I don't know, because like Billy Strings,
not that I know of, and not with my kids. Like my kids, and music is different. It's just different right now.
It is not bad, not necessarily a bad thing. Because,
not judging it.
No, because it's funny how, like our parents judged what we listened to, and their parents judged what they. I mean, so it's just like this continuous loop of like thinking your music was better in your generation, and that's cool, but like, but we're right? I think we're right.
Yeah, we're so right. I mean, we've got all the best music. We have Tom Petty and Queen.
Right. And I don't think anyone can argue with that, because, one of the trends now is for all of the young kids to wear these band t-shirts. And I continuously, like, my daughter came down with a Aerosmith shirt on, and I was like, okay, you can wear that shirt if you can name one song that Aerosmith sings. And she was like, what? And I'm like, no, you can't wear the band shirt if you don't know who the band is.
She did. She could name one, right?
Not immediately. I turned on the music, because I'm the crazy mom that's like, oh, you're about to find out who Aerosmith is. And so we go through songs, and she was like, oh, I know this stuff. And I think most people would, because Aerosmith is such like, unless you've been under a rock somewhere, you've heard one of their songs
for a very long time.
Yeah. So, the Dave Matthews Band will go down in music history, even if we never make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That does not matter. They've already gone down in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I don't even understand that. I don't understand how they won the votes and didn't get in.
I think, if nothing else, and I think Dave said this in an interview, that it was like satisfying to him to be like the very first person that had ever happened to, because that makes it historical, right? Like that makes it
Howard Stern. I saw that. It was Howard Stern. Yeah.
Yes. So I think it's comical. I think it gave them even more exposure, right? Because people that don't even listen to them were like, whoa, did you hear this? Because it was all over the music news, right? And so anyways, they're going down in history in our hearts, and for sure, and the things that they've done in our lives and continue to do. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I think that a lot of people, I think a lot of people can relate. None of us are perfect, and we all have different things that we are waking up with every day that we have to deal with. And I know that you're not alone in MS. I know that a lot of people are that's part of their daily life, and how can they make it better. And so I think that your story is going to do some inspirational work. And so again, I appreciate you talking about that, and of course talking about the band, because that's what we love. That's what brought us together, right?
What we love. Yes, we love.
Yes. So guys, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube. And if you are watching this on YouTube, if you can do me a favor, just by subscribing and liking this video, this lets us know that you have listened to it, and what we can do different. And guys, if you want to share your story on this podcast, your journey with the Dave Matthews Band and how it's affected your life, you can reach me on any social media app, or you can email me at kissonthelips@gmail.com. So Dawn, again, thank you so much for being on the show.
You.
Yeah, guys, stay tuned every Friday for a new show with a different band. Guys, like I always say, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.